I'll give you 10% of my YouTube revenue on the video.
That's like $2.
Here, let me see if I got $1.
Actually, it's done right now.
All right, so we're testing UK, and by we, I mean Corey. Super easy.
Oh, that I'm just like going a lot easier on it. Yeah, instead of going like this, like a maniac, like I was. Yeah, just because it's soft. I would be going super fast with it if it wasn't. Now I'm just spinning out the high spot since it's. I didn't want to press enough to get it as even as I would like. So now.
So explain to me why. Like, so theoretically, we're going to put 2 coats of hard coating on top of the paint. So then why are we still going to scratch crazy?
Why are we still going to scratch?
We're going to scratch the coating technically, right?
This should make it harder, and so it should be harder to scratch it. It should be more difficult to scratch. It's not going to make it as hard as if you put it on it. Like the coating doesn't have full control of your final hardness. It's going to make the paint harder than it. So if you start with a soft paint and start with a hard paint, put them both on, the hard paint's still going to be harder, but it's going to improve. The reason we use it on this is because the paint is so soft. We thought, hey, the UK is going to harden it more than the TiO2 will. And so still you got to practice all of your proper washing procedures and everything else. And I would go ahead and just give it a little test here. I think. Yeah. Put the cap back on too. But if you didn't coat it with this, then even if you did everything perfect, it might still mar really easy. No, we're gonna be better safe than sorry, because once that UK gets sticky, then it's not going to be good on the soft paint. So right now it's pretty much there. If the paint wasn't so soft, I might wait a little longer, but I think it's okay. I'm going to finish the rest of this, and I'm going to try one spot where I leave it a little bit longer. Yeah, so now I can tell it's definitely ready. Like, I shouldn't leave it on any longer. So I'm using my one side that I'm going to not use after more than like a door and a half. And then the other side I'll be able to use a little bit longer because I'm going to get most of it off on this.
So pretty much zero pressure?
Yeah, as little as you can to get it off. Like if it's difficult to get off, then it's on there too long. With the UK, you don't want to let it actually dry. Like I'm probably using slightly more than we were over there just because it's a little bit stickier of a product. But probably not more than. And you'll see what I'm looking for is those halos where I'm wiping it at. Those actually aren't oil halos. Those are actually like marks from the little fibers, like the coating's turning into a gel right now, and it's like you're putting cuts in it's self-leveling a little bit. So if I'm wiping hard now, once you get to this point, now you just want to go really, really light, because every time you're wiping it, it's going to put those little things. But why I paused and just watched it was I'm seeing if they're disappearing. So over like 10 seconds, you should see them kind of just disappearing. I don't know if you can see that.
Opposite direction.
Exactly. If you go in this direction, you'll see the lines going that way, where the fibers that way. Now they're going vertical, and that's how you know that it's that and not something else. So the mistake people make a lot of times at this point is they'll just keep rubbing on it, like I'm so tempted to want to do. But at this point, it's good. Like I should just leave that there, and those halos right there, we should just come back and give it a light wipe after, let it sit like 5 minutes before you get those. And I think it's going to be good. I'm going to keep going down here so that I don't end up overlapping there. Like after 10 minutes, it might start acting weird if I try to overlap it too much later. So, and then with UK, we're not going to leave this applicator on here for that too much longer, but we'll go ahead and do some of it real fast with it before we have to switch it up, because it'll cure up in this applicator faster.
Hard to do it with one time.
Yeah.
So Corey, would this have any sort of, if you had the slightest margin of paint, would this have any sort of filling ability, or is it just
Yeah, we should take it a little bit slower with this one. Maybe
This is micro USB. You have to
people
do
shouldn't work on it
big
unless
flat
they're
one.
really going to be focused.
It's USB.
I think it's good to have someone look for the spots.
Alright, let's
Yeah,
troll.
exactly. Somebody should be.
We'll
I'd say
have-
3 people on each
we'll
section.
have-
One person really focusing, just looking for high spots while somebody else applies, and then somebody coming behind with a towel. And
Just
same thing. That
spreading
same person
Alright,
watching back
Troy,
and
we need
forth.
you over here nitpicking.
I think it was full. Yeah, it was like that. You can use that side one more time, and then just just go over it all one time.
Stand back with this.
And
Does it dim?
the emblems we're gonna have to get in there with like a suede. I would get everything else off, and then and then we can get a brand new clean suede, and somebody focus on the rest of this, and take care of this for you, and then you can keep moving, and they can get into every little, any place they can get the corners of that suede into, so I don't get high spots all inside where it's not going to have a chance to get water spots, or it will, Matt? Will it ever have dirty water sitting on it?
I mean, we are in Florida, but generally not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna let it sit for days, but if it's at my office and 3 p.m. and it rains and the sun comes out,
Yeah.
that
for
would
sure.
be that's
Okay.
what would happen.
The door handle inside.
So S is
We might
plus,
do
S is
TIOs,
plus would be an emergency for this if it got spotted.
Yeah, we would not want to use that until like a ways down the line,
Right.
if we could help it. So I think coat that now. In the next at least 3-4 minutes, we should start that. Well, I'm on this duty unless somebody else takes over for this. I'm getting out those lines right there. See those horizontal lines right there? I'm just like barely touching it, and those will come out. And I think the humidity did go way up in here. The humidity is a big,
Probably just from opening the door.
yeah, the big killer for UK is that humidity. If you preheat the panel a little bit with the IR lamp, it'll make it a lot easier. I'm gonna try that on the other side if they're done with the lamp by then.
Okay, so we're stopping is just where I did there, and radius right here. Okay. I'll wait for you to catch up. Communication is key.
Also, even that little bit of weight that's going into them, is literally imagine a bowl of Jello and rubbing fibers across the bowl of Jello and putting lines in it. That's what's happening. It's in its gel. But if I do it just super lightly like that, it pulls them off, doesn't leave them. Now, if we preheated the panel or the humidity was lower, then it'd probably be a little bit easier because it'd flash a little bit faster, like it would self-level faster. So we wouldn't be like freaking out on it. This is good up here. It's already leveled on its own, I think.
Yeah, this is already getting tacky, to be honest with you. Dragging it across here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a little bit.
How many times did you press it already?
This is the second time.
Yeah, I was having the same thing. I was like gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, are you looking for more spots?
Do the trunk?
Something's.
yeah, just take that one more time.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
next to the roof.
You got the perfect
Alright.
pressure and everything.
Great.
And that's gonna be a good reference point for when we start wiping it off down here.
Like right now we're just trying to get all those high spots and oily marks that you guys are finding. Just get all that off. The stuff that you can't, that you don't need the light to see.
Yeah.
And then the oily stuff like that, we'll leave that for a minute and then we'll just dust it up. We'll go over it.
What we're looking at, I mean, you can see very clearly on the hood where the UK was done, where it wasn't, and it's in the process of flashing. So you see that kind of oil slick look. So what are you waiting for to wipe this?
It's
2 minutes
about
or so?
ready. Yeah, it's working at about 2 minutes.
So just for reference, you know, we're at,
I would go ahead and
it's about probably 72 in here. The thing's set for 70. So we're probably 60%, 50% humidity in here. So we've got it pretty well controlled. Might even be a little lower humidity, but it's really rainy out today, so we do have some humidity in here. We're doing this in the wash bay. You guys would have quit on me a long time ago.
It's gonna flash for 5 seconds.
Done like a little. Put the applicator block on. All right, wipe it.
Someone would have to go with the applicator, and someone would have a towel right behind us.
Putting the CQuartz on the softest paint in the world.
Well then, this is great. Alright, finishing up
They're all done and they step back.
coat number 1.
And then while it's carrying in, I'm gonna go.
Well, they got one. Who's got the seat for you?
Yeah.
It's on back
That's on the back of the truck.
Did you not hear the announcement?
I did, but I thought someone would have that.
cold. I'm hard of hearing.
It looks just like it did before I started touching it.
So now, Tia, you gotta get started now because where you started.
Yeah, it's about
Just start where you started.
in about an hour, so we're just going to start in the same place and then
Gotcha.
go exactly the same direction.
But this will be easier to apply. The last step. Roof's off. I'm gonna do, because it's hard to reach around this gap here. So we're gonna get that and get this very back section so that we can coat it.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
And then we're gonna put the wing back on. What do you want to do?
Troy was trying to burn people.
Oh. All right, so the Raptor's done, completely done. We're finishing up the S2000. We're doing the base coat of CQuartz UK and the top coat of TiO2, just because it's a little better with water spots. And in Florida, we have the issue where it'll rain in the afternoon and be sunny a few minutes later. So we're finishing that up, and then we're pretty much done. All right, so we're done. So let's see. I started this Friday at like 6 a.m. I think we finished. When did you guys get there? 3?
What,
Three?
we flew in at 3.
Yeah.
No, they were the
Yeah.
guys that were there. Tony.
So, yeah, Martin got there at like 2. You guys got there at 3. So I finished then. So I did the decon on Friday, and then Saturday, we focused, I guess, on paint correction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we taped up the cars. First we wiped them down with eraser and taped them up. What do you guys think about I know some of you guys used the kamikaze tape from Esoteric.
I love it.
Love it.
Love
Yeah.
it.
It's almost like Teflon.
I was skeptical, but after using it,
Yeah, I really like it because it conforms. Like you can kind of
Yeah.
carry
You
the
don't have to
radius
fight
with it.
It's
Yeah.
like pinstriping tape or body.
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
it's
it
nice and
doesn't leave any
thin. It
residue.
sticks better too.
Yeah, it sticks way better.
I don't know. I'm thinking about abandoning the 233 plus. The green stuff really doesn't work very well.
I'd go all
No.
kamikaze guys.
Yeah.
The only thing is they only have like small sizes.
Yeah,
not, like,
Yeah.
big.
Little-
Yeah,
It's
I
pricey.
can't imagine what that would cost if we had a full,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess even if they made an inch version,
Yeah.
but still. So we taped both vehicles up, and man, it's so much easier when we do, like, have 15 people.
When do we finish it?
Funny how that
30 minutes?
works.
Like for me, like making a video, I'd make like a whole video on just taping the car because it takes darn an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We had it done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes
Everyone
tops.
gets quartered.
Yeah.
That's
So-
the easy part with so many people.
Yep.
No big
So-
into his way.
Got the cars taped up, then we started polishing, right?
Yep.
And so who was focused? Bradley, Jared, you guys focused on the S2000. What did we end up doing there?
We did about 45 minutes worth of test panel
More than that, probably.
material.
Yeah.
So
We
you-
started with Sonak's Perfect Finish and a yellow Rupes pad,
Mhm.
and then we moved to a white Rupes pad and Sonak's Perfect Finish, and then we ended up with what? Essence and a yellow pad.
Essence and the yellow pads for.
So we didn't need. I guess is it technically even count as a 2-step?
No.
Not really.
Because you did essence on the whole thing.
We did
15-step
essence and a
test.
yellow pad for 85% of it, and then some of the areas that were super heavy, we
Mhm.
basically cut it down with perfect finish and a yellow pad
Mhm.
first, and then went back with essence and the yellow pad.
And then what about Raptor? Raptor being white. I know Corey, you guys tried. You
We
tried some
cut on
S3.
it with we started with like S3 and a yellow pad and the Jess car and a yellow pad, and didn't like either one of those those weren't aggressive enough, so we moved up to McGuire's microfiber pad with the Jess car compound.
Mhm.
And then we went back to the S3 Gold with the McGuire's microfiber pad. So half of it was the Jess car, half of it was the S3 Gold, but either one was working great as long as we used the microfiber pad on it. It was cutting deep enough.
Yeah, I
Spot
mean,
people in
those
first.
two, you'd have a really hard time noticing a difference between how they
On the white
cut.
for sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No
I
doubt.
had
And then there
no
was a few
problems
deeper
with the
spots
yellow.
we had to hit harder.
I had no problems with the yellow with the iBrick just because
Just
that
wet
was on the
sanding.
rotary
Yeah.
tool though, and the tailgate was definitely softer
Yeah.
than
Yeah, it's
the
a
rest of the
different
car. I mean,
And then all the little cracks and crevices. And
Yeah. We spent a lot of time just on the tailgate, me and Troy.
Yeah.
We were there probably an
tail-
hour.
the tailgate was like, we knew it was going to take a little bit, but just getting around the emblems and the fact that we found out like you guys were having with the soft paint on the S2000 was we were starting to wipe off
and
Yeah.
looking, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
we're seeing straight lines,
Yeah.
and we didn't have that problem doing the side of the bed or anything.
Well, we switched towels. Remember, we went from the yellow to the.
Yeah.
That's when we
Yeah,
switched as well.
yeah,
When you
yeah.
guys told us, we're like,
Yeah.
screw it, we'll just switch
Yeah.
as well.
So the really interesting thing apart, someone had mentioned this earlier, that some of the details, some of the things that we got done, there's no way, like Brandon mentioned, like I've never focused on a panel, like
Yeah.
one specific section.
Yeah.
So everybody's with the lights and
Yeah.
hitting every little crack and crevice, and so by having 15 people do it, or 60, 18 people do it, it's just so much more efficient to get some of the little tight areas done.
Yeah.
So we both polished somewhat simultaneously. There were 3 or 4 on the S2000, 10 people on the Raptor, and then we decided yesterday afternoon. So we started about like 7 in the morning. We got started right away, and then around 3 o'clock is when, after we finished the essence, right? So Corey suggested we leave the essence on there for overnight.
Overnight, correct. Right. Yeah,
So
we
what-
wiped it off as we went, but then we left it. We didn't erase or wipe it until today.
Gotcha. So then we did a light. So this morning we came in, let the essence cure overnight, and then just did a light essence, or a light, what's it called?
Eraser.
Yeah, eraser wipe down, and then got started on both cars. We actually we basically finished the Raptor because there was still some polishing going on the S2000, because we removed the wing. Shane, you guys did the wheels and both. That was a huge project. So I thought that my method wheels were sad.
Yeah. Finish, yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, am I stupid? I mean, we all thought they were sad.
Yeah, they were
sad.
yeah, so we took them outside, washed them and clayed them, and Matt was ready to go ahead and gloss coat them. I'm like, I don't really like it because they were streaky looking. I'm like, let me just hit it with the pad, and then as soon as I hit it with I just used 205 and a yellow pad, and as soon as I hit it, it started glossing up.
Clean up, yeah.
And it was like, oh, these are actually gloss wheels. So then we had to polish it with the 3-inch, all the barrels.
And then
the
by
barrels,
hand.
the barrels were satin.
Yeah.
The faces were, so we polished everything with the 3-inch, and then we had to get the hybrid with the yellow pad, and to go around all the little bolt holes and the little lip on the inside and everything around the lug holes. So those wheels took forever.
I mean, that was
Corey
all day.
and,
That was
Martin
all day.
all day.
That was all day for the
Well,
wheels.
the first one took the longest
Yeah.
because we had to figure it out, and then once I had we got the system down, and then I did the barrels and the faces, and then I had the other Corey and Martin. Once we got where I was doing one thing while they were doing the other thing, they were using a 3-inch while I was on the hybrid. They moved a little faster than the last 3.
So imagine, like, just thinking about me doing that by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, just the wheels would have taken the whole weekend.
Yeah,
It took 3. It took
Yeah.
3 guys like
6 hours.
10 hours probably.
Yeah.
And you would have got burned out doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You would have never done it nearly as well. And so,
And
you
then
know,
gloss coating.
when people eventually ask me, why are you having people come do this? I mean, I knew the Raptor. Now the S2000 was just because I didn't expect to have this many bodies here, and so we threw this one in, and you know, that turned into be just as big of a project. But the little details of like the wheels, and now they're dialed, and then we opti-gloss coated them.
Right.
And the reason I wanted to do gloss coat was because it's a permanent, theoretically, sorry Corey, it's a permanent type solution. At least mentally it's permanent. It's on there, and I'm not gonna mess with it, you know, theoretically. Again, by then I probably won't have the truck. So wheels were done. S2000 were a lot easier, right? I mean,
Yeah, we did the S2000 wheels in like an hour.
right. So normally, you know, you have a couple of dudes, you do the wheels, and you're going to take, you know, a couple hours to get them dialed, but the truck took, you know, 3 people, 10 hours to get so, you know, we had probably 25 man hours into, gosh darn, the wheels.
Yeah, they were just heavily oxidized.
So then we did trim. I did some of the trim, some of the, you know, the minimal amount of work that I did this weekend. I'm blaming it on I had to get the video for everybody. So we did Geon trim, did some solution finish in some areas. I know Brandon, you dialed in the trim up front.
Yep.
Also did the glass. So the glass was done with Opti, just basic glass coat or glass sealant. I don't even know what I'd call it a coating. It's more of like just a kind of a nano sealant. Yeah. I wanted to test that out versus Wolf's because Wolf's is so hard to get. I wanted an alternative solution, and so we'll see how it holds up. And then talk to me about, so Corey talked to us a little bit about the last step. So we decided to do TiO2 on the truck, and then we did a single coat of CQuartz UK, and which on black was kind of a nightmare. I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't the color, but it was the paint definitely. We had to be careful with it. We had to really focus on it, and we really had to keep our, we had to really pay attention to the details on it. We had to get the timing just right, and yeah, it was a little bit of a nightmare at certain points of it. But yeah, on the Raptor we did the 2 coats of the TiO2, and then on the UK, and then on the 2K we did 1 coat of the UK, and then the second coat we did TiO2. The second coat flashes faster, so we thought, and you mentioned that it'll be parked outside sometimes and water spots and stuff like that. You might be better off with a coat of the TiO2 on top. So in case you don't.
So
have time to
then
reload,
somebody
you can
asked me a
reload.
question on Instagram, why IR lights? I mean, we obviously don't need them, right?
No, we don't need them, but it will make pretty much any true ceramic coating. It'll make it better if you can IR cure them. Now most people can't, and so if you have a black car and it's not sand blowing around outside, you can park it in the sun, and that'll make a difference. Any heat you can add to it within the first 3 to 4 hours after you have coated it is going to end up with a harder surface. So during the solid gel process, when it's having this chemical reaction turning into a solid, if you can heat it during that process, then it's going to end up, if you wait 2 days from now and do it, it doesn't do the same thing as if you do it in that first 3 to 4 hours. And because we had such soft paint, that was why we said, you know what, let's just go ahead and pick up the IR lamps and go ahead and bake it and try to get you that extra little bit of hardness so it won't be so easy to swirl up.
And then I had full intention on the S2000. See, my S2000 plan has been to wrap the car or clear film the car. And so what I intended to do this weekend was we were going to polish it, correct it to 90% or as close as we could get, and then do Jescar Powerlock Plus, and then do Colonite. But my guess is just removing the darn Colonite would have scratched the crap out of the thing. And then we ended up finding best results from doing just a single step essence correction. So it just made sense, and I listened to 15 people telling me we should just coat the stinking thing. So the S2000's coat, it looks great. But CQuartz UK, again, CQuartz UK is a little harder, right? So tends to, hopefully will protect the softer paint a little bit better. I'm gonna most likely change my washing procedure on this thing. I don't think I'm gonna dry it, and I think I'm gonna just I might buy like 15 kamikaze sponges and just drag it and throw it, drag it, throw it, and I don't know. I'm gonna figure out something to hopefully keep it looking decent. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but I wasn't looking at the thing. I didn't get any lights out. I'm looking at everything from like 5 feet away because it just feels better just knowing it from here. It looks fantastic, and it does look great up close, but I just want to avoid the whole looking at the rock chips or any little detailed imperfection. So tires, so Geon trim on the trim, a little solution finish on some of the plastics. Tires have CarPro Pearl, nothing special there. Pretty simple process. We talked about the wheels. What am I missing? What else did we do?
Interiors, but
yeah, I mean, I usually keep my cars pretty clean, so we didn't really do anything there other than vacuum, wipe down with cockpit, next-set cockpit. Windows were done with just basic Griot's window cleaner.
I can tell you from being here and having all of Matt's toys to play with, you don't realize what you don't have until you come here. And I know that a lot of people say that that's overkill and this is overkill, but every single thing that I used here today has pretty much changed my viewpoint. I mean, I always had a pretty high standard for what I wanted to use, but after finally getting some hands-on time with the pressure washer and the hybrid, I mean, I'm going home, I'm going to buy the hybrid, the little Rupes Nano. I think that's kind of an underrated or overrated, depending on how people look at it. I just personally feel like coming here and using the tools, when I go back home, I'm going to be having to rethink how, what I want.
The whole time, and with all of us here, and each of us has some things that the other doesn't have.
Yeah.
And we're using basically what I have, and then Corey brought some stuff to back me up. But you guys, how many times, do you have this? No. Do you have that? No. And, I mean, I have everything on the planet.
Oh, I was
And
playing
I'm
with
still
everything
missing
I
out.
wanted.
There's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that I still don't have. It's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
this detailing game, I mean, it's just, it seems so simple. Like why, you know, one of my best friends, he said, I told him, the guy I bought the Raptor from, he's like, you know, you're detailing, I told him I was detailing the Raptor. I said, yeah, I've got like 20 dudes coming to help me. And he's like, he couldn't comprehend what that even meant. And we worked for 10 hours a day, you know,
2 days.
Yeah.
2 days plus the decon the day before. And, you know, man, I mean, if you really want to do it right, and it takes a lot of money, a lot of product. I mean, I don't even know how much, like if you tried to buy all this stuff to do it, even by yourself,
Yeah.
is super expensive. And so that's why, I mean, some of you guys are professional detailers, and some of the other guys that left are professional detailers. And I mean, I'm doing this DIY thing, but I think these videos, if anything, can, you know, hopefully inspire some people to do it on their own, but also will remind some people to say, hey, you know what, I should go hire somebody to do that.
Yeah, that's me.
And realize how much value there is in that. Like,
Yeah.
if it takes us all that, then if you want to go to somebody and pay them to do it, then that's going to have to cost some money for them to do it right. It gets
Yeah,
a lot of work for that
$300,
person.
$400.
Not gonna-
That's,
no.
it's
No,
insane, you know.
Stay
And
ahead.
you're talking a few $1,000s. If you want to do it right, if you value your car, if you spend $50,000 on a truck, you just to spend a couple of grand and have it done right, and then really obsess over the care for it, taking and maintaining the car. I've had a little bit tougher time these last years because now I have 4 cars, and it's harder to just focus on that one vehicle, but so care becomes something that you really want to obsess over. But so hopefully these videos inspire you to either one, take it head on and understand it's going to be time intensive, it's going to be money intensive, it's going to be practice and learning intensive. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I learned a bunch from watching other people, and you know, you learn some things. Having Corey here to show us exactly how to use, you know, certain products, and it's
That was the best thing about this weekend.
yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for 17, 18 years, and I've learned something new every single time
day,
I
yep.
touch a polisher, and so there's some stuff that, you know, that 5 years from now we'll be like, why did we do it that way?
Look at those idiots.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, I can't thank you guys enough for doing this. I mean, this for me is a huge step outside of my comfort zone to, one, let anybody touch my car. So I hope you guys know that, like, I specifically selected you guys because I knew that I could trust you. In fact, more than I trust myself on a lot of things. So there was a lot of times I was like, hey, I want you doing it, or I want you, because I don't feel as comfortable as having, you know, some of you guys do this stuff. So thanks so much for doing this.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Next time we do some big thing like this facility is going to be, maybe I'll own the whole building, but this thing will be flooring and cabinets, and the lighting actually wasn't too bad.
No, I thought the lighting was good.
And having the AC, I mean, it's literally
That was
85% humidity outside.
Yeah, it's so nice having the AC.
First of all, we would have never done it
Yeah.
this time of year, but man, having this facility was great. So anyway, thanks guys for doing this, and you know, thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. We'll be here. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.